the pledge.
Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll read that.
Need an approval of the August 18 minutes. If we could have First and a second.
We'll move first. Second.
All opposed? I mean, all in favor?
Aye.
I just want to back up and call
Yeah, you can call it.
attendance.
Attendance.
So I don't have the attendance, so
You can get it by the front sheet of the agenda.
oh, okay. Wayne Malicki. Rick Cool. Neil Mascolo.
Here.
Tom Kiernan.
Here.
Eileen Bronco here. AJ Bordes.
Absent. We do have a form with the three.
So I think we're going to go to new business B.
We'll go to, yeah, why don't we do that? Because it's just sending it.
Okay, we're going to accept this special permit application and refer to planning, the planning commission, set a public hearing for 6:05 PM on Wednesday, October 20th, 21, for the special permit application for solar panel facility located at 0 Bosco Drive. Count number 016-9188, applicant TriCap Americas LLC.
So Eileen, I do believe Paul Machad, I think, are you with? There was a Paul and Chris, I think you're both with, and Solstice Energy might be with this project.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is Paul Michaud. I'm with Tree Tech. I'm their attorney.
Okay.
Yep, and Chris Gagnon from BO Companies is on the line as well. We prepared the drawings, and I think this is just the acceptance hearing, but we're here and willing to present as much as you want or answer any questions that you may have, or we'll talk to you in a month. It is up to you.
Well,
If you can give an overview of what the application is, where it is.
I would be happy to do that. Do you guys have the plans in front of you?
just so you know, I gave them the updated plans that were brought in today, the 2 pages, and then the package that was delivered last Thursday to me.
All right, fantastic. So I will, I have up here on my screen that overall site plan, the one that depicts the entire project on one sheet. So that one that was just handed in today. So I think that's the best one to yes.
Just so I get them to the right one, the 2-page one, the front page is a correction on the front page of the big one. And then on the second page, they provided us a sheet that covers the whole location. In your packet, the ones that I gave to you in the big package, that it was split because of the 1 to 40 size scale. It was split into 2, but then they gave us one today that has the whole thing on one. So if you go one more page, Eileen. Second page, yep, there.
Where's Bosco Drive?
Bosco Drive is a private road off of Crodell Drive on the Middlebury line.
Okay.
Right next door to the mobile park.
Yep.
So they do have the first page right in front of them.
Excellent. Well, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to hear our application. We appreciate the time and effort of town staff and the commission. So thank you very much. So what we have in front of you today, and will really be in front of you, I guess, a month from now, is a proposed under 1 megawatt solar development. And what matters in terms of the fact that it is under 1 megawatt AC power is that anything over 1 megawatt will fall under the purview of the Connecticut Siting Council and actually does not require any local review at all. However, it is our choice, and just due to the size of the site, to be proposing a under 1 megawatt site, and therefore we are in front of your local jurisdiction for approval of the development. So what this will consist of is it's a very simple site plan, really. We will be utilizing the existing improved access road up to a point, and then from that point we need to branch off, and we will be installing a 12-foot wide gravel road around the site. To that note, I did get a call from the fire department. They did request that we increase the radii of the inner.
Again, Chris, this stuff should be handled at the public hearing.
Okay.
So this is
So-
just brief intro.
Fine, understood completely. So what we have then is the site. It has the 12-foot wide gravel access road around it to provide access to the solar panels, which are depicted as these rectangles on the site plan that you have in front of you. So for this type of development, it's approximately 5 acres of panels, and with that, we will also need to be going to the DEP for a general permit. So once we get through your process, we will also have to apply to the state for their general permit for construction activities. So what this really is it's a ground-mounted solar development. The panels themselves will be mounted on steel racking equipment, and these will be tracking panels, so they will actually be moving with the sun. So it's a very cool setup that allows us to be efficient with the development and minimize the footprint of it.
Okay, thank you. You've provided enough information for tonight. It's just a presentation where it is. All this stuff should be covered at the public hearing.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
To cut you off, but
No, I understand completely. It's your meeting. Whatever else you need from me, happy to provide.
state requirements.
Yep.
So we'll just need, it would be the second motion before the motion to adjourn.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the site plan modification. I need a motion to accept the special permit application referred to planning and set the public hearing for 6:05 PM on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021 for the proposed solar farm project located at 0 Bosco Drive, account 016-9188, applicant Tri-T Americas LLC.
So move. Okay.
All in favor? I mean, all opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next month, and we'll get in touch with you about who you got to send it to and all that.
Appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
You want to do the modification now?
If you want, that's fine.
As opposed to,
Well, the next thing will be the public hearing, which might take longer, but the site plan, we do have enough people to vote on the site plan modification too. We have a form, so.
Okay, so we'll move on to commission discussion decision for site plan modification for 144 River Avenue, applicant HMF LLC.
Madam Chairman, for the record, Michael McBurry, attorney with an office at 35 Porter Avenue. On behalf of the applicant, HMF LLC, earlier stage of building, I grew up in town, it was House Service Station on River Avenue. The House family sold, it became a Meineke Auto Center, it's now a quiet zone. HMF is the owner of this, they're the owner of the former Meineke franchise as well. What this is proposal is to add one bay on the front of the building for emissions testing. Everything else would remain the same. They're just adding one additional bay on the building for emissions testing. Looking at the state statistics, the only emissions testing spot in town is Mezio's on New Haven Road. There was there's one down in Beacon Falls Gables. There had been one in Middlebury Road, which is no longer doing the testing. So it meets a need that the town has. I have the principal of HMF with me if you have any questions regarding this. It's pretty much basically what we're looking at, a 432 square foot addition on the front of the building. We did receive a variance from the zoning board of appeals for parking on this spot. The only thing you're going to see differently is going to be a 16 by 27 foot bay on the front of the building. Everything else remains the same. Only excavation would be, it's going to be on a slab, so other than footings and laying the slab, there would be no significant excavation on the site as far as the project. It's going to match the building itself as far as the current architecture.
I don't have any questions.
No.
Will they be by appointment only? Because if it's not by appointment, I think we have an issue with traffic.
Missions that the state requires us to do both appointments and walk-in. I do admissions in
Before, can you just state your name?
oh, I'm sorry, Howard Fishball, and I own HMF, and I also own the fire zone that is there. State requires both walk-in and, appointments. It's in, like, for example, my store in Watertown, I mean, never is there but one or two people waiting. It's really a non-issue. It's not like what you all may remember years ago going to the state places where the cars were backed up into the road. It's far from that. There was at one point over 300 stations in Connecticut doing it now. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's so spread out and sporadic that most of the time there's none there. On average, my stores do 15, 20 a day, and they take 5 to 10 minutes each. So you need math and see how many.
So nowhere they're having the backups of people waiting?
Not at all. I mean, like my store in Torrington does 60 to 70 a day for whatever reason. And when it's backed up, maybe there's 4 or 5 people. Torrington is like an anomaly to the rest of the state. I mean, they don't know why we do so many there.
So they,
I will say the last 3 times I've had mine done, I've gone out to Woodbury and Murray Brothers, and I've basically been doing on the line. Again, as Howard said, that remember the
right.
state emissions went up on the water bill was waiting in line. It was constant, and like going to the motor vehicle.
I think they have like 6 or 8 of those across the whole state.
I did go to Gabe's last Thursday for emissions. I went at 12:30. There was 2 people in front of me. I was there 10 minutes. Just to let you know how quick, and different business, but it was.
So parking was decreased through ZBA?
Was not decreased, we didn't add any parking.
Okay, all right.
The regulations require parking spaces, for 2 parking spaces for each bay. We added, we're non-conforming use as it exists because the building was built in 1950 prior to zoning, but they didn't require us to comply with adding 2 additional parking spaces. But again, if you drive by out there, there's always room for parking if it's necessary.
Right. So can you tell us then, say you get 5 cars in, will you be parking those cars while they wait? How will you handle that?
Yeah, the way it works is, like, if you came in, you would park your vehicle anywhere, come into our office, you know, we would take the push card, they send you $20, and then our admissions guy would come grab your car. It's not like they're queued at Dunkin' Donuts or anything like that. But so you would just park, walk in, and we would take it from there.
No questions.
Make a motion to approve the site plan modification application for the proposed addition to the building for the property located at 144 Weber Avenue, applicant HMF LLC.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Good luck, good luck.
Thank you, guys. On my way back again. See you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good.
When you-
All downstairs.
Oh,
Move on to livestock poultry regulations. And the public
You
hearing.
would just open the public hearing.
So I'll open the public hearing at 6:27 on poultry livestock. So
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak?
May I speak?
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to hear you guys, so I'm not sure where you are. Rocky Vitale, 180 East Waterbury Road, Naugatuck. The reason I brought this forward, and thank you for putting this on the agenda tonight to revise the livestock ordinance, was mainly because residents came and asked me about it. I have no chickens. I don't plan on getting a chicken. I have no feathers in the game. I'm not even very good at the chicken dance. But they did ask me to bring it forward, so I wanted to bring it forward. I did read the revised ordinance. There's one place that gave me a little bit concern. It looks like in the ordinance, you're now requiring people to register their chickens and maybe other stuff too. And I'm just not sure where that came from or why, because it basically has no penalty if they don't. So if someone says, oh, to heck with it, I'm not registering my chickens, I mean, it really doesn't mean anything. There's no cost benefit to it. It just seems like it puts more work on zoning. So I just don't really know why that would be there or what the advantage or value is of that. And then that's it. Thank you.
Rocky, this is Laura Rotella. I drafted these. I kind of pulled in everything as a draft, and we could scale it back from there. I didn't know what anybody wanted. I had no other feedback. So we could take it out. This is what the public hearing's for, is to modify this as we go along.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I understand. Thank you.
What number was that?
I appreciate your hard work on this.
What number was that one? Do you know?
No, I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately.
I mean, if the commission agrees, we could take that right out. I went by other towns' regulations. That's all.
Sure. Sure.
we don't know what number that is.
I'm just, yeah, I'm looking here to see if. I could imagine that the requirement, there was going to be no cost with permitting or registering, but it is possible it gives us the opportunity to talk to people before they go and purchase more chickens than they would be allowed to based on the size, and the opportunity for us to go over with them too, location of where a hen could be kept, because there are things that are listed in here, so it might be based upon that we came up with the idea of at least being able to talk to people beforehand. Not, you know, and again, not everyone's gonna do it, but we could always say, look, we're allowed 5 chickens and you have 15.
Sure.
You would talk to us beforehand, as per we could have had that opportunity to let you know that. No different than people who go out and start putting various signs up or doing various things on their property without knowing that they couldn't do it. So that's a lot of what the permitting is done. So it allows us the opportunity to speak with them.
Rocky, are you talking about on the second page, permitting? These structures and enclosures shall not require a zoning permit, but all owners of backyard poultry and or rabbits shall submit a written statement to the zoning enforcement officer certifying compliance to these regulations. Is that?
I believe that's it.
I think that's why we put it in, just so we went over with them, so they were in compliance. Like Ed said, we don't want it to have 15 and you have a tiny little lot where they're allowed 2 or 3.
Leave it in.
Sure, well, but again, I'm not even sure many people are going to be aware of this ordinance even in the first place. But, if you feel that helps you, that's, I have nothing against it.
Well, it's possible, and like I said, there's a lot of people that won't do it in advance, they won't know.
Yeah.
And that's okay, it gives us the opportunity to talk to them. We do not penalize them for it, but it gives us the opportunity to let them know, this is now what you've got to comply with.
Sure. Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I just address that quickly, the comments? This is Ned. Yeah, so to Rocky specifically and the zoning officer and Lori. So I have a few comments on some of the language and one with regard to the current comments. One of the points about the written statement to the zoning officer. In some towns, they require that because it allows the zoning staff to know where the locations are in town. So that for the reason that Mr. Carter just said, that they can inform people in advance what's permitted, what's not. Sometimes that's helpful. There's always going to be people that either won't know about it, or even if they know about it, may not pay particular attention to it. But that's an issue with all zoning regulations. The other comment I wanted to make is on section 2, Lori and Ed, and I can talk to you about that later, but the enclosure, there's some language that I've seen utilized elsewhere that seems to be effective, which talks about under section 2 standards, that the fencing or landscape buffer has to be at least 4 feet in height, or the height of the enclosure, whichever is greater. That way the neighbor doesn't see the enclosure. You can be sure the neighbor won't see the enclosure from their property if they're level with it. Now, if they're above it, of course, they'll look down and see it, but do you follow me with that suggestion?
I note on mine.
Okay.
But that sounds like a reasonable thing to put in also.
Okay.
Can I make one other comment?
Yes.
I'm trying to bring it up now. Here it is. On your lot size, number 1, it's after number 9. Lot size, no more than 4 hens or rabbits can be kept on any residential property, excluding mixed use properties in a residential zone. But then you go on to say, oh yeah, but you can with the next ones. Does number 1 mean on a lot up to 25,000 square feet, or? I mean, you're kind of saying no more than 4 hens, but then you're changing it later. So that kind of confused me. Maybe it's just me.
So I think what you're asking is, number 1, we should state for lots under 25,000.
I think it might make it a little bit clear,
Yeah, isn't the intention to not allow the poultry or rabbits in mixed use zones or mixed use properties, on mixed use properties? That's the intention, correct? Townwide.
Right, like Ed was stating, okay, for example, Cindy's Market or whatever up on the hill is residential and a store. So we weren't gonna allow chickens or poultry in a mixed use like that, which is in a residential zone.
Right, but so the intention is to make that a blanket prohibition townwide, correct? No poultry or rabbits in a mixed use zone, a mixed use property, correct? Is that that's what the intent?
So we're referring to like Cindy's has a residential part to it also.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but everybody knows what I mean. I think we can solve that with drafting. I think you can make that clearer to allay any fears that Rocky might have there. about interpretation. We can just provide a simple statement, either in the beginning or at the end that says that, you know, that no backyard poultry or rabbits are allowed in a mixed use property townwide. Yeah, and then you can do your 25 to 33 and you can do your limitations, you know what I mean? And
Again, the way I read that, instead of saying excluding,
yeah,
if
I
you
know.
put in except for, it makes it
exactly.
sound like you can have them in mixed use.
I see where Rocky's, I think Rocky has a point with regard to how the language is, or how it's presently phrased, but we can solve that if, I think that's pretty easily handled.
It just could be misinterpreted, that's all.
Agree.
I think we can start each one of those with, for properties with a lot size of 1 to 25,000 square feet, this. For
Right.
properties, instead of putting the number at the end, we should start the numbers at the beginning.
You can do that, but then take out excluding misuse properties, because
Right.
we're gonna make a separate paragraph that's gonna say that.
That makes sense.
So there should be 5.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good work.
Then, you know what I mean, you could cross off on here and reword it, and draft, you know, do another draft, how you'd like it to be worded.
Because I see on each one, 2 through 4, we have excluding mixed-use properties. So we can turn around and just, we're not allowing anything on a mixed-use property.
Make it. a-
So we should make that one a blanket, and take those out of each one of those sections.
Right, take it out. I'll talk to you about it. It's an easy drafting, very simple drafting. No problem. Easy to change.
Anybody else have any comments? No other comments from the public?
But on the bees, anybody have any questions on the bees?
Talk about these, to be honest with you.
That's
I do have what may be a stupid question, I honestly don't know the answer. With these murder hornet things that are very far away from us, but if they live right here, is there a likelihood that they would be drawn to hives that are already established?
That I don't know. We just thought we'd add it in. We don't have to keep bees. This is all up to the commission. It's drafted, it's here. We don't have to use it.
Have we had a calling for this?
I have not had anybody, but since we were doing live poultry, a lot of other towns have bees mixed in.
Right.
We would add bees in.
There is a lot of interest out there with people now with having allergy reactions, not to bees, but just allergies in general, that honey is supposed to be better
Right.
for have allergies. So that's why a lot of these local people, not necessarily here, but people that are, you know, are doing beekeeping and creating their own honey, and people specifically want to buy honey that is local. So, but in regard to that, I think some of the reports that I've seen on the murder hornets tend to be more towards, I think, nests that are more wild than a specific beekeeper site. But I can only imagine that if they, you know, have an outbreak of murder hornets, they're going to go wherever they want. But we can always amend at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they stay in Washington State.
Does anybody from the public have any comments about the bees?
No, also.
I'm more likely to want to keep this public hearing open. We have, you know, drafts.
Right.
So do adjust.
And also respect to
Great.
Jane and Rick. So if there's no further comments, I close this for.
No.
Or move it to the next meeting,
For 6:10.
6:10.
We'll continue it to 6:10 because we have the other one at 6:05.
6:10 on
October 20th.
October 20th, we will continue this public hearing.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we refer it to planning also now with the updates that we have right now? Or do you want to wait to refer it till you get some
I think that I mean, this is the first really time that we're chatting and talking about it, so I prefer to just wait and let Wayne send it where he wants to send it.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you're under no time restrictions, so you can do.
And I actually, I'd love to hear a little bit from public about, yes. I think part of this was brought to us because of the real desire to have chickens in town. So, all the work and effort that's been put into a regulation and not having public to let us, I was looking forward to the public hearing for me to learn about it, and
I did
I'm disappointed
expect some
about
more comment.
yeah.
Maybe someone in the paper will put it in.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna, write up a whole new regulation based on people who want to have this, I would like to hear, me personally like to hear as a commissioner about it. I really don't know a lot.
I think I think in the last month, I might have had 3 calls on chickens. All did state the same thing. It was about a rooster or chickens running free.
Mm.
I don't care about whether they have them or not. I just don't want the chicken. One of them specifically was the chickens were running free. And the guy had just seeded his lawn and they came in and ate all his seeds with a neighbor. And he goes, I don't care if you have, they just got to keep them penned up. So nobody was interested in eliminating the chickens completely.
The enforcement's always the issue in any town you speak to about this. It's enforcement. And it's going to all go back to you and Laureate. So.
I mean, we could tone this down a lot if we need to, you know what I mean? I thought I'd start this way and then we could take out what we think is over regulating.
I don't think we're over regulating at all. I think we just want to make sure people understand no roosters in certain spots. And you've got to keep them in the pen.
Do you mind if I say something real quick?
Not at all.
Andreas is there, so if he puts this in a paper, then I can get a copy of the proposed regulations. I'll share it all over the world on social media for you.
Right.
The regulations are online.
And maybe, and we'll get comments then, I'm
Good.
sure. Okay? That's all.
Great idea, Jen.
Jen, I'll also email them to you tomorrow, but they are online on the town's website under our applications.
Yeah, I've been kind of off duty the last week and a half or so. So
Sorry about you.
Mm.
That's it. Yep.
Motion to adjourn?
Well, do you want us to just go through any comments? Or?
All of us that are here. Any comments?
No, nothing. Oh, nice job.
CEO report.
Yeah, I told you I would come back each month on
Yes.
251 Rubber Avenue, one
Yep.
stop. Talk with Tim again today. I've asked him to come to our meeting next month. I would like him to, I told him I think he needs to give an update as to what he's doing. Right now, he's doing fencing. They're digging fencing. They've got poles in. And they said they would need a good amount of time for the size of the poles to make sure the cement cured. So there, and he has that. We talked about the trees that would be going in. I asked him to come next month because I think he wants to do some changes. And I said, well, I'd like you to come before, just give us an update. So it's not third person from me coming. So I anticipate he'll be here next month. It's not gonna be an official thing on the agenda, like I might just have comments from him just to keep us an update.
Well, you and Wayne have already had the plan with him.
Right, we have gone out with him. I have stressed to him right now, I said, your plan calls for X amount of cars. I see a lot many on the lot. You're gonna have to start addressing that. And if you're making changes where you can have more cars, then you need to address that. This was your plan.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's where, and I think Dave Hughes, his surveyor, might come next month also to provide more of an update of what they're doing.
What's going on in the old park and rec?
That's actually, what's the roofing company? Not roofing, it's, Laura, what's the name of that group? Her
Oh,
partner, right, it's a framing company.
Oh.
International Framers.
International.
International Framers is leasing land from the town.
Nice. What, are leasing that?
They're leasing. it. I don't know if they're gonna buy it or not, but that's where we're at right now, from as far as we know. But they took down some of the other stuff. They're potentially gonna be looking at doing a modification there to put in an addition out front. But I've also heard they're interested in something that's up in the industrial park too.
They sell to the public?
No, they sell actually nationwide to one of the biggest framing companies for buildings in the country.
So yeah, they haven't moved in there yet.
I believe they are in there. Or just starting getting everything in there.
not sure. if Jan can hear me. Jan, I sent those regulations to you.
Send it back out.
I emailed those to you. I forwarded a few seconds ago.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna read them.
All right.
Okay.
Things you and I talked about, South Main Street.
Yeah.
I haven't been in touch personally. I sent him a letter, the owner of the property. I talked to the real estate agent today.
Okay.
Who told me that the property would be addressed in the upcoming days. They're very close to a sale on it, which would be good to maybe move it forward, but I was told it would be cleaned up at that location there.
Is that a gas station?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like in the last few days, the pump thing fell, so they said they're gonna solidify that again or put that back up. And then the overgrowth, I mean, I sent them a bunch of pictures.
But the tank's still in the ground there? It must be, right?
I don't know. I thought there was a time period, that's why it shut down, that they pulled the tanks out. Quite a long time ago. I mean, that hasn't been an active gas station
Oh, long.
in probably 20, 30 years, so I thought they pulled them out because it was just too expensive to.
Where's that at?
South Main,
Next to Napa.
Napa.
Charles. Okay.
Next to where Salem Chevrolet used to be in there. There was a point, and maybe it is, that Napa met with us 6, 8 months ago about purchasing it for additional location for Napa. So maybe that's finally going through, I don't know. But we went over a whole layout of what they could do, stuff like that.
Adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All in favor, all opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for stepping up.